But just because it's not like plot, you're like, nothing happened. I'm like, nothing happened? What? Like the craziest, biggest moves happened. It just wasn't someone like shooting someone else and going pew, pew, pew. And if that's what you want, you're just watching the wrong show.
Okay, I had to service 14 main characters and cross over a bunch of assholes from the Avenging Squad prequel.
Character detail. We have something like 14 characters and we have to, maybe 15. I owe it to all of them, in that television is the character business. I owe it to all of them to...
I'm going to Harry Potter World in Orlando. Who's with me?
Or did you like the chosen one and have Homelander level strength or some shit?
Well, reports of my awesomeness have been greatly exaggerated.
Flesh them out and humanize them and end their stories.
You know, Clara used to say the craziest shit. That I was the strongest soup alive. I'm gonna head down to Bogota, but she was wrong. You're too weird. She hadn't met you yet. And you're no god. You're a fucking disappointment. No angel came to you. You had a wet dream about some chick with big juicy tits. If that makes you a god, then I'm a fucking god every night.
I owe it to all of them, in that television is the character business. I owe it to all of them to flesh them out and humanize them and end their stories. But apparently, like, just because it's not plot.
This is the biggest lie that Erik Kripke, showrunner of The Boys, has been trying to sell us to justify the mediocre writing of his show. Whenever the show sinks into repetition, dead-end storylines, and actual structure based on filler story beats, or hollow expository sentimentality dressed up as deep writing or character work, yet still manages to make its major resolutions feel forced, foolish, and anticlimactic. The fact that he believes this lie reveals him as a genuinely poor storyteller, who believes his executions are better than they actually are. The reality is that, yes, these criticized episodes are filler in the purest sense of the word, which is precisely why the finale still sucks despite 8 full episodes building toward it. And we are going to demonstrate it. Roughly 3 seasons ago, it stopped being a character-driven story, one with an intelligent, critically minded narrative of characters against a system, where the pessimism carried meaning. Once a great satire and warning on modern idealization in media that became increasingly relevant, it works hard to create that illusion. It invests screen time making you believe that the motivations, character development, backstory, psychology, and emotions driving these people on screen actually matter. But the truth is, they don't. They are superficialities delivered through monologues with no real humanity behind them, most of the time with no payoff. Since the season 3 finale, when the story was prevented from reaching its logical character-driven conclusion because the show had to continue and it wasn't time for the climax yet, The Boys placed plot far above character, betraying them, and the show has operated that way ever since, one where the screenplay does the exact opposite of what Kripke preaches. It disrespects the characters, their motivations, their consequences, and the natural momentum those motivations should bring to the story's progression. Characters act according to the writer's pen and the story's obvious pacing needs, arbitrarily, not as the characters themselves should act. And that is bad writing if, as Kripke claims, you care so much about your characters. No character is moving in a concrete and compelling direction or serving a narrative function. That's why they shift in nature and personality from episode to episode. They are puppets of something larger, a poorly fleshed plot. And the only characters who have had defined paths or roles to fulfill for the past 3 seasons are being artificially held back, so they only fulfill them when the writers need them to. That is, in the finale. What Kripke says here:
none of the things that happen in the last few episodes will matter if you don't flesh out the characters.
Is a complete fallacy. That road was built 3 seasons ago. The Boys' main premise is simple, one that has, in fact, grown simpler with each passing season. There is a time bomb, and that time bomb must be stopped before it goes off.
First, I'll take out the nerve centers. White House, Pentagon. Then any domestic defense capabilities, and then critical infrastructure.
In the journey to stop it, the morality of its protagonist is questioned. Does the end justify the means, or does it merely turn us into mirrors of our enemies, slaves to our own desires, trapped in repeating cycles? It's a dramatic question and a tension-building device that peaked in Season 3 and has been stalled ever since. The bomb never went off, the characters never locked in a path, the thematic anxieties haunting these characters were abandoned, and now, only now, are they being recovered. 2 full seasons later, literally retreating the same ground left at that first narrative climax. Everything in between has been noise. What Kripke misreads as character development or dramatic setup, they are cheap tricks. These are episodes that employ narrative styling tactics to delay major turning points, in which the show artificially trips itself up, manufacturing speed bumps, forced to undo its own naturally built screenplay solutions, developed across the series and its spin-offs, because otherwise the writers couldn't conceive of an 8-episode season, which makes the lie even more transparent. The filler doesn't enrich the narrative, it paralyzes and dilutes it. Losing the virus is an artificial plot break. The B1 is an artificial MacGuffin and plot break. Starlight's Guild this past year is an artificial plot break. Soldier Boy itself is an artificial plot break. Losing contact with Stan Edgar as an ally is an artificial plot break. Sage rattled by her own dumb mistake, and the dumb mistake itself is an artificial plot break. The Gen V kids being rendered useless all season is an artificial plot break. It only knows how to introduce problems that function as safety nets, micro-conflicts designed to stall the inevitable. That is why, for a long time now, this has not been a thrilling story. That is why it is frustrating. The audience is right. The damage doesn't stop at cadence and pacing. The season is retroactively harmful to the series as a whole. Our journey as viewers is rendered worthless because the show's final resolutions were improvised rather than earned, and they didn't even need to do that because they already had everything they needed. Therefore, the results, however predictable, anticipated, or long promised they may have been, end up being deeply unsatisfying, rushed, and anticlimactic. The final fight, the death of Homelander, Butcher's anti-hero arc, the things we waited years for do happen. Yes, but hurried, tonally off, motivated and resolved for all the wrong reasons. Even if they are correct on paper, you feel nothing watching them. Because this is a script of puppets, not of characters with enough depth to make their tragedy feel real. Sure, the acting is good and the resolution is what we want to see, but for real catharsis, execution matters far more than outcome. And all of this is without yet mentioning the insult, the sheer audacity of sabotaging the main narrative to service spin-offs that don't even exist yet, turning Soldier Boy, a main character, into a launchpad for bot rising, planting seeds in a conclusionless finale for a spin-off that now no one will care about, sabotaging the significance of Gen V as a crossover that was always built to collide with The Boys. But since they wanted a 3rd season, now cancelled, it was simply left as a wasted shot. And with this audacity, Erik Kripke comes to tell us that this is character-driven television, and that's why it deserves time to breathe like a fine wine? When he destroyed the pacing, impact, and natural flow of his own story in order to serve the very consumerist corporatism his show spent years mocking.
Head around, because I'm getting a lot of online dissatisfaction, to put it politely. And I'm like, what are you expecting?
Rage is not what makes you strong.
In a few weeks, you're gonna somehow do what it took the Russians over a decade?
Yeah, because unlike the Ivans,
We got us a living, breathing supercomputer.
Y'all are dumb as fucking shit.
Love is a logic error. Love made me miscalculate that a disfigured Nazi cum stump could actually bring Homelander and Soldier Boy together.
And another thing, I gave you the V1 because that's what she would have wanted.
And I'm like, what are you expecting? Are you expecting like a huge battle scene every episode with like no one? I can't afford that, and two, like it would be so empty and dull, and it would just be about shapes moving without having any import.